Before we dive in, a quick but important note. The pricing and figures discussed in this video are based on extensive, real-world data and industry averages from across the United States. However, the charter bus industry is incredibly dynamic. Prices can and do vary based on your specific location, the time of year, and the individual company you work with. Think of this presentation as your ultimate insider's guide to understanding the how and why behind the price, not as a final binding quote. Your goal is to use this knowledge to ask smarter questions and get the best possible deal. Okay, with that said, let's get started. You're planning the wedding of your dreams. The venue is a stunning remote winery. The guest list is finalized, and everything is perfect. Except for one giant 56-passenger problem. How do you get 150 of your closest friends and family from 3 different hotels to the middle of nowhere and back again without a single person getting lost, showing up late, or most importantly, driving after a few glasses of celebratory champagne? You do what everyone does. You Google how much does a charter bus cost? And what you get back is a chaotic, contradictory mess of hourly rates, daily minimums, per-mile charges, and vague estimates that make your head spin. One company quotes you $2,000. Another quotes $5,000 for what looks like the exact same service. You start to wonder if just telling everyone to call an Uber is easier. But deep down, that's a logistical nightmare waiting to happen. That is the fastest way to derail your perfect day. This is the exact moment where most people make huge, costly mistakes. They focus on the wrong numbers, they ask the wrong questions, and they end up either overpaying by thousands or booking a subpar service that causes more problems than it solves. But that is not going to be you. Because by the end of this video, you will be a charter bus booking expert. I am going to pull back the curtain on the entire industry and give you the definitive pricing playbook. You will learn the secret pricing models that every company uses, the hidden fees they don't always advertise, and the simple negotiation tactics that can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. We are not just going to answer the question, how much does a charter bus cost? We are going to teach you how to get the best price for the best service for any event you can imagine. Whether it's that dream wedding, a critical corporate retreat, a school field trip, or a legendary bachelor party weekend in Vegas, this video is your masterclass. So how do we crack the code? It's actually much simpler than the internet makes it seem. 90% of your charter bus quote is determined by just 4 core factors: time, distance, the bus itself, and the season. We're going to dissect each one piece by piece so you understand it inside and out. And we'll start with the most common and most misunderstood pricing model of all, the hourly rate. You're about to learn why a 3-hour trip and a 5-hour trip can, and often do, cost the exact same amount. Let's talk about time. Almost every charter bus company in the United States has an hourly minimum. This is the first hurdle you need to understand. The industry standard is typically a 4 or 5-hour minimum charge. Why? Why would you pay for 5 hours when you only need the bus for 2? Think about it from the operator's perspective. That bus doesn't just magically appear at your doorstep. The driver, who is a highly trained professional with a commercial driver's license, has to get to the garage, conduct a pre-trip safety inspection, and then drive from the garage to your pickup location. That travel time is called deadhead, and it's unpaid unless it's built into a minimum. After your trip, they have to drive the bus back to the garage, which is more deadhead. Then the bus needs to be cleaned, refueled, and prepped for the next day. That 5-hour minimum isn't just for your 2 hours of use. It covers the entire block of time that their asset, a $100,000 plus vehicle, and their professional driver are dedicated exclusively to you. So what do these hourly rates actually look like? For a standard 56-passenger motorcoach, the kind you see on the highway with the big panoramic windows and the underfloor luggage bays, you can expect to pay somewhere between $150 and $250 per hour. Now, that's a big range, so let's use a national average of about $190 an hour for our examples. If a company has a 5-hour minimum, you're looking at a baseline cost of $950. That's your floor. It doesn't matter if you only need a simple 1-hour transfer from the airport to a downtown hotel. You're likely still paying that $950 minimum. Of course, that rate changes dramatically depending on geography. In a dense, high-cost metropolitan area like New York City, San Francisco, or Los Angeles, where traffic is a nightmare, tolls are expensive, and operating costs are through the roof, that hourly rate could easily climb to $275 or even higher. A 5-hour minimum there could cost you nearly $1,400. Conversely, in a smaller city in the Midwest or the South, you might find a fantastic, reputable company charging $160 an hour, making your minimum $800. The key takeaway is this. For any local trip, find out the company's hourly minimum, because that is your true starting price. But what happens when your trip gets longer? What if you're planning a full-day corporate offsite, and you need the bus and driver on standby for 10 or 12 hours? This is where the pricing model shifts from hourly to a daily rate, and it's another area where you can save money by asking the right questions. A daily rate is not simply the hourly rate multiplied by 24. Far from it. The U.S. Department of Transportation has very strict hours of service regulations for commercial drivers to prevent fatigue. In any given 24-hour period, a driver can be on duty for a maximum of 15 hours. Within that 15-hour window, they are only allowed to actively drive for a maximum of 10 hours. After they hit those limits, they are legally required to take a minimum of 8 consecutive hours off duty. Because of these rules, a daily rate from a charter company typically covers a block of 10 or 12 hours of service. So what does that cost? For that same 56-passenger Motorcoach, a full-day rate will generally fall somewhere between $1,600 and $2,400. Let's take a national average of around $2,000 for a 10-hour day. Now let's do the math. Our average hourly rate was $190. Multiplied by 10 hours, that's $1,900. So, in this case, the daily rate of $2,000 is very close to the hourly. But if you were quoted a higher hourly rate, say $220, 10 hours would be $2,200. If that same company offers a flat daily rate of $2,000, you just saved yourself $200. This is why you must always ask the booking agent. At what point, how many hours, does your pricing switch from hourly to a flat daily rate? That single question signals that you've done your homework. Now this gets even more complex and even more expensive when you're planning a multi-day trip. Because now you're not just renting the bus. You're essentially responsible for the driver's entire life on the road. And there is one specific cost that almost every single first-time planner forgets to budget for. A cost that can add over $500 to your bill if you're not prepared. But before we get to that, we need to talk about the second major factor that governs your price: distance. So we've covered local trips priced by the hour and full-day local events. But what about that epic road trip to see a dozen national parks, or taking the debate team to an out-of-state championship? When your journey is less about time and more about covering serious ground, the pricing model can flip entirely from hours to miles. For these long-haul trips, many companies will quote you a price per mile. It makes sense. The fuel, the oil, the wear and tear on the engine and tires are all directly correlated to the distance you travel. The per-mile rate for a full-sized Motorcoach typically ranges from around $4 to as high as $7 per mile. That's a huge variable, and it depends on the age of the bus, the region you're in, and, most critically, the price of diesel fuel at that very moment. Let's imagine you're planning a one-way trip for your church group from Chicago to Nashville. That's a journey of about 475 miles. If we use a mid-range rate of $5 per mile, your base cost would be $2,375. But here is the critical detail you have to remember. Remember that deadhead time? The same principle applies to deadhead miles. The bus company is based in Chicago. After they drop you off in Nashville, they have to get that very expensive bus and that paid driver all the way back home. So, in most cases, they will charge you for the round-trip mileage, even if your group is only traveling one way. Suddenly, your 475-mile trip is billed as a 950-mile trip. That $2,000 estimate just doubled to $4,750. Now this is where it all comes together, where the pros separate themselves from the amateurs. The vast majority of multi-day trips are not priced by just time or just distance. They are priced using a hybrid model. The charter company will analyze your specific itinerary and calculate the cost based on whichever metric is greater for each day: the total miles driven or the total hours the driver is on duty. Let me walk you through a real-world example. Let's say you're a high school band director, and you're taking your students from Denver to a competition in Salt Lake City and back. It's a 3-day trip. Day 1, you drive from Denver to Salt Lake City. That's roughly 520 miles and will take about 8 hours of pure driving time. With a stop for lunch, the driver will be on duty for about 10 hours. Day 2, the bus is mostly parked. You just need a couple of short, 20-minute transfers from the hotel to the competition venue and back. Total driving for the day, maybe 25 miles. Total on-duty time for the driver, maybe 4 hours tops. Day 3, you drive all the way back. Another 520 miles, another 10-hour day for your driver. How does a charter company price this complex trip? They use the hybrid model. For day 1 and day 3, the dominant factor is clearly the distance, so they'll bill you by the mile. Let's say it's 520 miles at that $5 per mile rate. That's $2,600 for day 1, and another $2,600 for day 3. But for day 2, they're not going to charge you for 25 miles. That would be $125, not nearly enough to cover their costs. So for day 2, they will bill you based on time. Since you have the bus and driver reserved for your exclusive use, they'll charge you their full daily rate, which we said was about $2,000. So you add it all up, $2,600 for day 1, plus $2,000 for day 2, plus another $2,600 for day 3. Your total base cost for the bus and driver is $7,200. But you are not done. You are not even close, because on top of that $7,200, there are 3 additional costs that you absolutely must factor in for any multi-day trip. One of them is the one I hinted at earlier, the one every first-timer forgets, and it is completely non-negotiable. The second is a mandatory gratuity that some companies bake right into the fine print of your contract. And the third is a fee that changes every single day and can add hundreds of unexpected dollars to your trip if you book at the wrong time. Understanding these so-called hidden costs is the difference between a budget that works and a budget that gets completely blown apart. And that's exactly what we're diving into next. Let's start with the line item that surprises more people than any other: the driver's gratuity. You get a quote for, say, $4,000 for a weekend trip. It looks perfect, it fits the budget, you're ready to book. But you notice some fine print, or maybe you don't and you just get a friendly reminder later, that the quote doesn't include a tip for the person who is literally in charge of the safety of your entire group. This isn't like tipping a barista $1 or $2. A standard gratuity for a charter bus driver is between 10 and 20% of the total trip cost. Suddenly, your $4,000 trip is actually $4,400 or $4,800. That's a huge difference. And it's not something you want to be surprised with after the fact, trying to collect an extra $10 or $20 from everyone in your group. Some companies will give you the option to prepay the gratuity, which I highly recommend. It takes the awkwardness out of it and ensures your driver is fairly compensated for their long hours and immense responsibility. But many companies leave it up to you, and it's a cost that is almost universally expected. So the first rule of charter bus budgeting is this: take your initial quote and immediately add 15% on top. If you don't end up paying that much, great, you're under budget. But if you don't account for it, you're starting off with a fantasy number. Now let's say your trip is more than a single day. You're planning a weekend wedding, a multi-day tour, or a tournament that's a state away. This brings us to the second and arguably the biggest potential hidden cost: the driver's accommodation. Federal law is very strict about this, and for good reason. The Department of Transportation has what are called hours of service regulations. In simple terms, a driver can only be on duty for a certain number of hours and can only drive for a certain number of hours within that on-duty period. After they hit that limit, they are legally required to be off duty for a minimum of 8 to 10 consecutive hours to rest. And here's the key part: that rest cannot happen on the bus. They can't just curl up in a seat and call it a night. They need a private, quiet place to get actual restorative sleep. This means you, the chartering party, are responsible for providing and paying for a private hotel room for your driver for every overnight portion of your trip. Think about what this means for your budget. You're taking a 3-day, 2-night trip. You've budgeted for the bus itself, you've even budgeted for the tip. But did you budget for 2 nights in a hotel? In a tourist town or a major city, that could easily be an extra $150, $200, even $300 per night that you never saw coming. That's up to $600 added to your bill. This is non-negotiable. A reputable charter company will not, and cannot, break these federal safety rules. So when you get your quote, you must ask, does this price include the driver's hotel room? 9 times out of 10 it won't. Some companies might have partnerships with hotel chains and can get you a discounted rate, which is a great question to ask. But ultimately, the responsibility for that cost falls on you. Ignoring it is like planning a road trip and forgetting to budget for gas. It's a fundamental part of the journey. Next up are the little things that add up to a very big thing: tolls, fees, and parking. This is especially true if your trip takes you into, or through, a major metropolitan area. Let's imagine you're planning a trip for a school band to perform in New York City. The bus quote looks reasonable, but have you considered the cost of the Lincoln Tunnel, the George Washington Bridge, or the various turnpikes you'll need to use? For a commercial vehicle like a Motorcoach, these tolls aren't just a few bucks. They can be $50, $60, even over $100 for a single crossing, depending on the time of day. And that's just getting there. Once you're in the city, where does a 45-foot-long, 12-foot-high vehicle park? It can't just pull into a standard parking garage or find a spot on the street. It requires special bus parking, which is incredibly limited and incredibly expensive. You could be looking at a parking fee of several $100s for the day. If the bus needs to drop you off and then go park somewhere and come back later, you might even be on the hook for the driver's travel time and mileage to and from that parking location. Many people just assume parking is, well, included. It's not. Some charter companies will try to estimate these costs and build them into your quote. Others will pay for them during the trip and then bill you for the exact amount afterward. This is a critical detail to clarify. You need to ask them directly. How are tolls and parking handled? Are they included in the price? Or will I be billed for them separately after the trip? An unknown variable cost that you only find out about after your credit card has been charged is the fastest way to ruin the memory of an otherwise great trip. Let's move on to the fine print of your itinerary. Mileage and time. When you request a quote, you provide a schedule. Pick up at 8 a.m. at the school, drive to the museum, leave the museum at 3 p.m., stop for dinner at 6 p.m., return to the school by 9 p.m. The price you receive is based specifically on that plan, the total miles driven and the total hours the driver is on duty. But what happens when things change? What if the museum is so amazing that the group wants to stay an extra hour? What if, on the way back, your group decides they want to make an unscheduled stop to see a famous landmark that's 20 miles off the main highway? Or what if you hit a massive unforeseen traffic jam that adds 2 hours to your return trip? This is where overage charges come into play. Your contract will specify a rate for any additional hours or miles accrued beyond the original agreement. An overtime rate might be anywhere from $75 to $150 per hour. A mileage overage could be $3 or $4 per mile. Let's play that out. That one extra spontaneous hour at the museum could cost you $100. That quick 20-mile detour to see the landmark? It's a 40-mile round trip, which at $4 a mile is an extra $160. And that traffic jam? Even though it's not your fault, the driver is still on duty, and those 2 hours could add another $200 to $300 to your final bill. Now, most companies are reasonable. A 15-minute delay isn't likely to trigger a charge. But it's crucial you understand the policy before you depart. Know what the hourly and mileage overage rates are. It allows you to make informed decisions on the fly. You can tell your group, we can make that extra stop, but it will add about $160 to the trip cost. Is everyone okay with chipping in a few extra bucks for that? It turns a potential post-trip billing dispute into a simple, transparent group decision. Finally, there's one last cost that is entirely within your group's control: cleaning fees. Every charter rental includes a standard cleaning. The company expects to have to sweep the floors, wipe down the windows, and take out the trash. That's just part of the business. But what they don't expect is to have to conduct a deep cleaning forensic investigation. If someone spills a giant container of sticky soda all over the upholstery, if there's chewing gum ground into the carpet, or if your bus looks like the aftermath of a food fight, you can and likely will be hit with an excessive cleaning fee. This can range from $100 to over $500. Depending on the severity of the mess, and whether it requires specialized services like steam cleaning. The easiest way to avoid this is to simply set expectations with your group from the beginning. Remind everyone to use the trash receptacles, to be careful with food and drinks, and to do a quick personal check of their area before disembarking for the last time. Leaving the bus in a respectable condition is not just common courtesy. It's a direct way to protect your wallet. So gratuity, the driver's hotel, tolls and parking, overtime and cleaning fees. These aren't hidden costs designed to trick you. They are variable costs of travel that simply can't always be calculated into a neat, flat rate quote up front. But now you know about them. Now you have the checklist of questions to ask. You can transform these unknowns into knowns and build a budget that reflects reality, not just wishful thinking. But even if you account for every single one of these fees, your price can still double or be cut in half based on one single choice you make before you even pick up the phone. It's not where you're going or when you're going. It's what you're going in. The world of charter buses is far more diverse than you think, and picking the right vehicle is the next critical piece of the pricing puzzle. Let's open up the garage door and look at the menu of machines, because what you're riding in can swing your price by hundreds or even thousands of dollars a day. First up, the most common entry-level choice: the minibus or shuttle bus. Think of this as the sensible sedan of the charter world. It typically seats anywhere from 15 to 35 passengers. These are perfect for shorter trips, like shuttling wedding guests from a hotel to the venue, getting a corporate team to an off-site meeting, or handling airport transfers. They're nimble, they can navigate city streets and tight parking lots far better than their larger cousins, and they're significantly cheaper. The trade-off? Amenities. You'll get air conditioning and comfortable forward-facing seats, but don't expect a restroom on board. Luggage space is also limited, usually just a small rear compartment, so it's not ideal for a group flying out for a week-long vacation with massive suitcases. But for a quick, efficient, and cost-effective hop across town for a smaller group, the minibus is your undisputed champion. It's the smart, practical choice that gets the job done without the sticker shock. Now let's go even more basic. Let's talk about the big yellow icon of American transport, the school bus. Yes, you can charter a school bus. And financially, it is, without a doubt, the cheapest way to move a group of 40 to 60 people. But this is the absolute definition of, you get what you pay for. You're trading every creature comfort for a rock-bottom price. Those narrow, vinyl-covered bench seats? They haven't gotten any more comfortable since you were in 8th grade. Air conditioning? Forget about it. You're getting the 4 to 60 AC, 4 windows down at 60 miles an hour. An onboard restroom? Not a chance. Luggage? It's going on the seats next to you or in the aisle. A school bus charter is a stripped-down, bare-bones experience. It's fantastic for extremely short trips, like a 5-mile shuttle for a local festival, or for a youth group on an incredibly tight budget who values the destination far more than the journey. But if your trip is longer than 30 minutes, or if your passengers are expecting even a baseline level of comfort, booking a school bus is a recipe for a full-scale mutiny. It saves money, but the cost is paid in comfort, convenience, and the sanity of your group. Alright, now for the main event. The vehicle that 90% of people picture when they hear the words charter bus. This is the standard Motorcoach, the workhorse, the king of the highway. This is your 56-passenger, high-riding, feature-packed chariot that's built for the long haul. And this is where the real value proposition of chartering a bus comes into focus. Inside, you're looking at plush, reclining seats, individual reading lights, and overhead bins for carry-on items just like an airplane. Below your feet is a massive luggage bay, capable of swallowing dozens of large suitcases, sports equipment, or band instruments with ease. Climate control is standard, keeping you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And crucially, there is almost always a clean, compact restroom on board. This single feature is a game-changer, eliminating the need for frequent stops and allowing you to cover vast distances efficiently. Modern motorcoaches often come equipped with Wi-Fi, power outlets at every seat, and video monitors for entertainment. This is the vehicle you want for your cross-state college tour, your sports team traveling to an away game, or your multi-day sightseeing trip. It provides a level of comfort and convenience that allows passengers to relax, socialize, work, or sleep while the miles melt away. It is the baseline against which all other options are measured, and when we talk about average bus costs later, this is the vehicle we're typically talking about. It's the perfect balance of capacity, comfort, and capability. But what if you don't want balance? What if you want to dial the luxury up to 11? Then you step into the world of the entertainer coach, also known as a sleeper bus or a tour bus. This is not transportation. This is a rolling 5-star hotel suite. On the outside, it looks like a sleek, often blacked-out motorcoach, but on the inside, it's a different universe. These buses are custom-built for touring musicians, political candidates, and high-net-worth individuals who need to travel long distances overnight without sacrificing comfort. Instead of 56 seats, you'll find a front lounge with leather sofas and satellite TV, a full kitchenette with a refrigerator and microwave, a bathroom that might even include a shower, and in the back, a series of private sleeping bunks, typically 8 to 12 of them. It's designed for a small group to live on the road for weeks or months at a time. As you can imagine, the cost is astronomical. You're not just renting a bus. You're renting a mobile apartment with a professional driver. These are almost always priced by the day, not the hour or the mile, and the daily rate can easily be 10 to 15 times that of a standard motorcoach. It's the absolute peak of road travel luxury, a fascinating glimpse into how the other half travels, but for 99.9% of trips, it is glorious, wonderful overkill. Now, let's take that idea of a customized interior and point it in a completely different direction. Let's talk about the party bus. This is the rolling nightclub. The party bus takes the chassis of a minibus or a mid-size shuttle and completely guts the interior. Gone are the forward-facing seats. In their place, you'll find limousine-style perimeter seating, allowing a group of 20 to 30 people to face each other and socialize. The entire vehicle is an experience. We're talking fiber optic lighting, laser shows, massive television screens, a bone-rattling sound system that you can plug your own music into, and of course a full bar area with coolers for your drinks. Some even have dance floors and dancer poles. This vehicle is built for one purpose: to have a good time. It's the go-to choice for bachelor and bachelorette parties, proms, milestone birthdays, or a wild night out on the town. The pricing reflects this specialized use. Party buses are almost exclusively rented by the hour, typically with a 3 or 4 hour minimum. Because the demand is concentrated on Friday and Saturday nights, the hourly rate can be surprisingly steep, sometimes rivaling the cost of a standard motorcoach that you could have for a much longer period. You're not paying for distance. You're paying for the exclusive, private, mobile party venue. Finally, there's the rare giant of the road, the double-decker bus. Just like the famous red buses of London, these two-story behemoths are all about one thing: maximum capacity. A double-decker can comfortably seat 80 or more passengers, nearly 30% more than a standard coach. This makes them an incredibly efficient way to move a very large group all in one go. The top deck offers fantastic panoramic views, making them a favorite for city sightseeing tours. However, they are exceedingly rare in the United States charter market. Their height makes them impractical for many routes with low bridges or overhanging trees, and they require specialized maintenance and drivers with specific training. Because of this scarcity and their high operating costs, chartering a double-decker is a premium option. If you can even find one available in your area, expect to pay a significant premium over a standard motorcoach. It's a unique solution for a very specific problem: moving the largest possible group in a single vehicle. So you have the zippy minibus, the bare-bones school bus, the workhorse motorcoach, the rockstar entertainer bus, the rolling party, and the giant double-decker. Each one is a tool designed for a specific job with a price tag to match. Choosing the right one for your group size, your trip's length, and your desired comfort level is the first major decision that will shape your final quote. But now that you've mentally picked out your perfect vehicle, the next question is, how are you going to use it? Because renting that beautiful motorcoach for a 5-hour local shuttle is a completely different financial calculation than booking it for a 5-day cross-country tour. The way the industry bills for time and distance is the next secret you need to unlock, and it's where the numbers really start to get interesting. Let's pull back the curtain on how charter bus companies actually build your quote. It's not a simple price per mile like you might think. Instead, pricing is a complex dance between 3 core elements: the hourly rate, the daily rate, and the mileage rate. And here's the first secret: you don't get to choose which one applies. The company does. They will calculate your trip cost using all the methods that could apply, and they will charge you whichever amount is highest. Understanding this single fact is the key to decoding any quote you receive. Let's start with the most common one for local trips: the hourly rate. Imagine you're booking a shuttle for a wedding, just a simple 4-hour loop between the hotel and the venue. You might see hourly rates advertised anywhere from $150 to $250 for a standard motorcoach. So for hours at $200 an hour, that's $800, right? Almost certainly not. This is where you encounter the first rule of the game: the minimum booking time. 99% of companies will have a 4, 5, or even 6-hour minimum. Why? Because your 4-hour event isn't a 4-hour job for them. The driver has to do a pre-trip inspection, drive from the company's garage to your pickup location, perform your service, drive back to the garage, refuel, clean the bus, and file their paperwork. That 4-hour wedding shuttle is easily a 6 or 7-hour workday. The minimum rental period ensures they can cover their fixed costs and the driver's total time. So your 4-hour event will be billed as a 5-hour rental. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is even more important, and it's an industry term you need to know: deadhead. Deadhead refers to the time and miles the bus travels empty, either to get to your starting point or to return to its garage after dropping you off. Many companies bill portal to portal, which means the clock starts the second the bus leaves their facility and doesn't stop until it returns. If their garage is an hour away from your hotel, your 5-hour minimum booking just had 2 hours of deadhead time added to it. Suddenly, you're paying for 7 hours. This is one of the most common points of confusion and frustration for first-time renters. You must always ask a company if their billing is portal to portal, or if it begins at your specified pickup time. It can make a difference of hundreds of dollars. Now what if your trip is longer? Let's say you're taking a youth group to an amusement park. You leave at 8 a.m. and plan to get back at 10 p.m. That's a 14-hour day. Billing that at an hourly rate would be astronomical. This is where the daily rate kicks in. Most companies will transition from an hourly to a flat daily rate once you cross a certain threshold, usually around 10 hours of service. A typical daily rate for a standard Motorcoach might fall between $1,200 and $2,000. This rate covers the use of the bus and the driver for a specified block of time, often up to 10 or 12 hours of driving or 15 hours of total on-duty time. It's a much more predictable and often more economical way to book a full-day excursion. But be careful. If your itinerary pushes past that agreed-upon daily service window, you'll be hit with overtime charges for the driver, which are always billed at a premium. So we have hourly for short, local trips and daily for longer single-day trips. But what about that cross-country tour we mentioned? What about a 3-day trip from Chicago to New Orleans? This is where the third element, the mileage rate, takes center stage. For multi-day long-distance journeys, the primary cost driver is no longer just the driver's time. It's the fuel, the tolls, and the immense wear and tear on a $500,000 vehicle. You can expect to see mileage rates ranging from $4 to $7 per mile. But here's the critical secret again. It's not just a mileage rate. The company is still paying a driver a daily rate to be with you. So they run the numbers both ways. Let's map it out. A trip from Chicago to New Orleans is about 925 miles. At say $5 a mile, that's $4,625 for the mileage. But the trip will take 2 full days of driving. The company also has a daily rate for the driver. Let's call it $700 per day. So that's $1,400 for the driver. In this case, the mileage cost is far higher, so that's what they'll use as the base for your quote. This hybrid system is the engine of charter bus pricing. Let's take a day trip from Philadelphia to Boston. It's about 300 miles each way, so 600 miles round trip. Driving time is about 5 hours each way. Let's say you want to spend 6 hours in Boston. That's a 16-hour day from start to finish. The company runs the calculation. Method 1, mileage. 600 miles at $5 a mile is $3,000. Method 2, daily rate. Their daily rate is say $1,800 for a 12-hour day, with overtime at $150 per hour. Your 16-hour day means 4 hours of overtime. That's $1,800 plus $600 in overtime, for a total of $2,400. Which quote do you get? You get the $3,000 quote because the mileage calculation resulted in a higher number. The bus company will always default to the pricing structure that best covers their costs and generates the most revenue. Understanding this whichever is greater principle is your superpower when comparing quotes. But there is one more factor at play here, and it is not a company policy, it is federal law, and it can completely obliterate your travel budget if you don't plan for it. I'm talking about the Department of Transportation's hours of service regulations. These are strict, non-negotiable rules designed to prevent driver fatigue and ensure passenger safety. In simple terms, a driver can drive a maximum of 10 hours after having 8 consecutive hours off duty. They cannot remain on duty, which includes driving, waiting, and inspecting for more than 15 hours total. After that 15-hour on-duty window, they are legally required to take another 8 consecutive hours off. How does this blow up your budget? Let's go back to that Philadelphia to Boston trip. A 16-hour day. That is illegal for a single driver. It exceeds the 15-hour on-duty limit. You now have 2 choices and both are expensive. Option A, you hire a second driver. This can add anywhere from $500 to $900 to your one-day bill. The second driver either rides along or meets the bus partway in a relay. Option B. Your trip is no longer a day trip. You must now pay for a hotel room for the driver, so they can get their legally mandated 8 hours of rest. This transforms your one-day bus rental into a 2-day rental. You are now paying a daily rate for 2 full days, plus the cost of the driver's hotel room, all because your itinerary was 1 hour too long. This is the single biggest and most costly mistake that groups make. They plan an ambitious, jam-packed day without realizing they've created an illegal schedule. The charter company will catch it, and they will present you with the massive price increase required to make the trip legal. Suddenly your budget is in shambles. Always plan your itinerary with that 15-hour on-duty limit in mind. A good rule of thumb is to keep your total trip time, from pickup to final drop-off, under 14 hours to be safe. So the price of your trip isn't just a number. It's a story told through the language of hourly minimums, portal-to-portal billing, daily rates, mileage calculations, and the unbending rules of federal law. You now understand the fundamental mechanics of how that price is built. But all of these rates, the hourly, the daily, the mileage, are based on one central assumption: the type of vehicle you're booking. And changing that vehicle, from a humble minibus to a luxurious executive coach, can change the entire financial equation. So let's pull back the curtain on the fleet. Because when you book a bus, you're not just booking a number of seats. You're booking an experience. And the price tag is a direct reflection of that experience. Think of it like a spectrum. On one end, you have pure, unadulterated utility. On the other, you have rolling luxury that rivals a private jet. Your final quote will land somewhere on that spectrum based on the vehicle you choose. Let's start at the most fundamental, most iconic, and most budget-friendly end of that spectrum: the classic yellow school bus. For many of us, the smell of the vinyl seats and the rumble of that engine is pure nostalgia. But in the charter world, it's pure practicality. This is your no-frills workhorse. You're typically looking at bench-style seating, which means you can fit around 48 adults, or up to 72 smaller children. The key word here is basic. Amenities? You get windows that slide down and, well, that's pretty much it. There's almost never air conditioning, no restroom, no underbus storage for luggage, and certainly no Wi-Fi. So who rents a school bus? It's for short, simple A to B trips where the journey itself isn't the main event. Think shuttling guests from a parking lot to a festival entrance. A 10-mile hop for a church group to a volunteer event. Or, of course, a local school field trip. The reason it's the cheapest option is simple. These vehicles are built for durability and simplicity, not comfort. There are fewer complex systems to maintain, no finicky bathrooms, no complicated AV equipment. They are the most cost-effective way to move a large group of people over a short distance, period. If your budget is the absolute #1 priority and your trip is under an hour, the humble school bus is your undisputed champion. But what if you need just a little more refinement? What if your guests are wearing wedding attire? Or you need to make a professional impression for a corporate outing? That's when you take one step up the ladder to the minibus or shuttle bus. This is the sweet spot for smaller groups, typically seating anywhere from 18 to 30 passengers. Immediately, you'll notice the difference. Instead of benches, you get individual, forward-facing seats. You almost always get climate control, blissful air conditioning in the summer, and reliable heat in the winter. The ride is smoother, the cabin is quieter, and it just feels more professional. This is the vehicle of choice for airport transfers for a family reunion, shuttling a wedding party between the hotel and the reception, or taking a department out for a team-building day. While most minibuses still don't have an onboard restroom and luggage space is limited to maybe a rear compartment or overhead racks, the upgrade in passenger comfort is significant. The cost reflects this. It's a noticeable step up from a school bus, but it's often more economical than renting a massive coach for a group that would leave it half empty. You're paying for comfort, a more modern vehicle, and a more polished presentation, perfectly scaled to your smaller group size. Now we arrive at the vehicle most people picture when they hear the words charter bus. This is the main event, the industry standard, the undisputed king of the road, the full-sized Motorcoach. Seating between 47 and 56 passengers, this is the vehicle that makes long-distance travel not just possible, but comfortable. This is the gold standard for a reason. Everything is bigger and better. You have panoramic windows for sightseeing, spacious, reclining seats with ample legroom, and a suite of amenities designed for the long haul. We're talking about a standard onboard restroom, a non-negotiable for any trip over an hour. We're talking about massive underbus luggage bays that can swallow dozens of large suitcases, sports equipment, or boxes of materials for a conference. Inside, you'll almost always find an AV system with multiple TV screens, a DVD player, and a PA system for a tour guide. And in today's world, most modern coaches come equipped with Wi-Fi and individual power outlets at every seat, turning the bus into a mobile office or entertainment hub. This is the vehicle you book for the university football team traveling to an away game, the senior tour group on a week-long journey through New England, or the entire company heading to a convention 3 states away. The price reflects its capability. This is the benchmark against which all other vehicles are measured. The daily rates, the mileage rates we talked about earlier, they are almost always based on this 56-passenger Motorcoach. It's the most versatile, most popular, and most well-equipped option for the vast majority of trips. But the spectrum doesn't end there. What if you want to take the luxury of a Motorcoach and distill it into a more intimate, more exclusive package? Then you enter the realm of the executive minibus or the limo bus. From the outside, it might look like a standard minibus, but the moment you step inside, you know you're in a different world. The capacity is intentionally lower, maybe 15 to 25 passengers, because the focus shifts from quantity to quality. Gone are the rows of forward-facing seats. Instead, you'll find plush, leather seating, often arranged in a perimeter or J-shape to encourage conversation. You might see hardwood floors, custom mood lighting, a premium sound system you can connect your own music to, and even a wet bar with ice chests and glassware. This isn't just transportation, it's a mobile lounge. This is the vehicle you charter to impress high-value clients, to transport your executive board to a retreat, or for a milestone celebration like a 40th birthday or a bachelor party where the journey itself is part of the celebration. Naturally, the price tag is significantly higher than a standard minibus. You're paying for the high-end finishes, the exclusive atmosphere, and the wow factor. It's a statement piece on wheels. And finally, we reach the apex, the absolute pinnacle of road travel. A vehicle so specialized that many people don't even know you can charter one. This is the entertainer coach, also known as a sleeper bus. This is what rock stars, touring musicians, and presidential candidates use to cross the country. From the outside, it looks like a sleek, often blacked-out motorcoach. But inside, it's a rolling combination of a luxury hotel and a command center. These buses are not designed to maximize passengers. They're designed to sustain a small group for weeks on end. They typically have 8 to 12 sleeping bunks, a master suite in the back, a full galley with a refrigerator and microwave, a comfortable lounge area with satellite TV and gaming systems, and a full bathroom, sometimes even with a shower. This is a home away from home. The cost is, as you can imagine, astronomical compared to a standard charter. They are often rented by the week or by the month, and the price can run into the tens of thousands of dollars. For 99% of us, this is pure fantasy, but it represents the ultimate expression of what a charter vehicle can be. A self-contained, mobile environment tailored to a very specific, high-stakes need. So from the bare-bones utility of a school bus to the opulent functionality of a sleeper coach, the type of vehicle you choose is the single biggest lever you can pull to control your cost. It's a decision that goes far beyond just counting heads. It's about matching the machine to the mission, the amenities to the audience, and the budget to the experience you want to create. Choosing correctly is the first and most critical step in crafting the perfect trip. But it's not the last, because even with the perfect bus selected, the calendar itself holds the power to dramatically swing your final price. The charter bus industry has its own rhythm, its own pulse, and it beats to the rhythm of the American calendar. Understanding this pulse is like having a cheat code for getting the best possible price. The single biggest factor driven by the calendar is seasonality. Just like hotels in Miami or ski lodges in Colorado, charter bus companies have a high season and a low season, and the price difference between them can be staggering. Let's start with the high season. The absolute peak, the Mount Everest of charter bus demand, happens twice a year. First, from April through June. Think about what happens during these 3 months. The entire country's school system simultaneously decides it's time for a field trip. Seniors are gearing up for prom night, needing stylish and safe transportation. Graduation ceremonies are happening everywhere, from high schools to universities, with families and friends needing to be shuttled between venues. It's also the beginning of wedding season. This isn't just a small bump in demand, it's a tidal wave. Every available bus, from the humble school bus to the most luxurious motorcoach, is in high demand. During this period, which we can call the spring scramble, you are competing with everyone. Prices are at their absolute highest, and availability is at its lowest. If you absolutely must book a trip during these months, you need to plan far, far in advance. We're not talking weeks, we're talking months, sometimes even a year out for a specific popular date. The second peak season hits from September through October. The weather is beautiful, making it prime time for fall foliage tours, wine country trips, and corporate retreats. But the 800-pound gorilla in the room is football season. From high school Friday night lights to major college games on Saturdays and the NFL on Sundays, tens of thousands of fans are looking to travel together. Alumni groups, booster clubs, and friends all want to tailgate and travel to the game without worrying about driving or parking. This creates massive localized spikes in demand around stadiums all across the country. If you're planning a wedding on a Saturday in October in a big college town, you're not just competing with other weddings. You're competing with 20 busloads of fans heading to the big game. This is the perfect storm of demand, and companies price their services accordingly. You can expect to pay a premium of anywhere from 20 to 50% more during these peak seasons compared to the rest of the year. A bus that costs $1,500 on a normal day could easily jump to $2,000 or even $2,500 during these peak windows. So where are the deals? The low season, the charter bus paradise, is typically January and February. The holidays are over, the weather is often cold and unpredictable, and schools are back in session with no major events planned. There are fewer corporate events, fewer weddings, and almost no tourist travel. For bus companies, this is the quietest time of the year. Their fleets are often sitting idle, and they are hungry for business. This is your moment to strike. If you have flexibility in your planning, maybe for a church retreat, a corporate training event, or a family reunion, scheduling it for January or February can save you a substantial amount of money. You'll not only get a better price, but you'll also have a much wider selection of vehicles and more negotiating power. The other shoulder seasons like March, July, August, and November can be a mixed bag, but are generally more affordable than the spring and fall peaks. But the calendar's influence doesn't stop at the month. It drills all the way down to the specific day of the week. This is one of the most overlooked secrets to saving money. Think of the days of the week in terms of demand. When do most people plan social events? Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Weddings, concerts, sporting events, bachelor parties, weekend getaways, they almost all happen on the weekend. Consequently, Saturday is the most expensive day of the week to rent a charter bus, bar none. It's the prime-time sold-out rock concert of the charter world. Demand is through the roof. Friday nights and Sundays are a close second. On the flip side, the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, is where you'll find the best pricing. These are typically work days. Demand is much lower, generally limited to corporate shuttles or the occasional weekday school trip. A bus company that might have every single one of its 50 buses booked out for a Saturday might only have 10 or 15 on the road on a Tuesday. They have assets sitting in a parking lot, not earning money. They are far more willing to offer a competitive price for a Tuesday trip just to get that bus moving and that driver working. The difference can be dramatic. A Saturday rental might be quoted at a fixed, non-negotiable rate, while a Tuesday rental for the exact same bus, the exact same route, and the exact same number of hours could be hundreds of dollars cheaper. If you have the flexibility to hold your company outing on a Wednesday instead of a Friday, you could instantly save 15 to 25% on your transportation costs alone. Beyond the season and the day, there's one more layer: holidays and special events. Booking a bus on a major holiday like New Year's Eve, the 4th of July, or Memorial Day is going to come with a hefty surcharge. You're not just paying for the bus. You're paying a premium for the driver who has to give up their holiday to work. Many companies have mandatory minimum rental hours and inflated rates for these days. The same goes for any major citywide event. Is the Super Bowl in your town? Is there a massive 3-day music festival or a major political convention? If so, every bus within a 100-mile radius will be booked, and the prices will be astronomical. Companies know the demand is there, and they price accordingly. Trying to book a last-minute bus during one of these events is a recipe for sticker shock. So knowing all this, the treacherous peaks of spring and fall, the calm valleys of winter, the weekend price spikes, and the holiday premiums, what is your single greatest tool? What is the one thing you can control that gives you the most power? It's lead time. How far in advance you book is a game changer. The invisible hand of supply and demand isn't just a concept from an economics textbook. It's the force that will either save you hundreds of dollars or cost you a fortune on your charter bus rental. Booking early, especially for a trip during a peak season or on a weekend, is non-negotiable if you want a fair price and a good selection. Ideally, you should aim to book 6 to 9 months in advance for any trip plan between April and October. This does two things. First, it locks in the current year's pricing before companies adjust their rates upwards for the coming busy season. Second, and more importantly, it guarantees you availability. You get your first choice of vehicle, not just what's left over. If you wait until the last minute, say trying to book a Motorcoach in March for a trip in May, you're entering a seller's market. You'll be making frantic calls only to hear, "Sorry, we're all booked up again and again." The one company that does have a bus available knows you're desperate. They hold all the cards. The price they quote you won't be their standard rate. It will be their last bus in the city rate, and you'll have no choice but to pay it. Procrastination is the most expensive mistake you can make in the charter bus world. Your single greatest weapon in this entire process is time. Use it to your advantage. Plan ahead, book early, and you can navigate the peaks and valleys of the calendar like a seasoned pro. By understanding how the calendar dictates price, you've just unlocked a huge piece of the puzzle. You know which bus you need, and now you know when to book it for the best price. But the quote you receive is more than just a base rental fee. It's a tapestry woven from different threads of cost. And the next one we need to unravel is the journey itself. The distance, the duration, and the very route you take will fundamentally shape that final number on your invoice. Let's start with the most fundamental question a charter company asks. Are we charging for the miles you travel, or the hours you use? The answer dictates everything. Most companies use one of two primary pricing models, per mile or per hour. And for local and city trips, it's almost always by the hour. Think about it. If you're chartering a bus for a wedding, shuttling guests from a hotel to the venue, the bus might only travel 20 miles all day. But it's dedicated to your group for 8 hours, with the driver waiting patiently. Charging by the mile would be a financial disaster for the bus company, so they charge by the hour. You can expect to see hourly rates ranging from maybe $150 to over $250 per hour, depending on the bus size and location. But here's the catch, and it's a big one: the minimum rental period. You will almost never be able to rent a full-size charter bus for just 1 hour. The industry standard is typically a 4 or 5 hour minimum. Why? Because even for a quick 1 hour trip, the company has significant costs. The driver has to get to the garage, do a pre-trip inspection of the vehicle, drive to your pickup location, perform the service, drive back to the garage, complete post-trip paperwork, and then the bus needs to be cleaned and fueled for the next day. That 1 hour trip easily becomes a 4 hour commitment for the driver and the company. The minimum rental ensures that it's actually worth their while to pull that $500,000 asset out of the garage. So if you just need a simple transfer from the airport to a hotel that takes 45 minutes, be prepared to pay for the full 4 or 5 hour minimum. It's not a scam. It's the basic economics of the business. Now let's flip the script. What if you're not doing a local shuttle? What if you're planning a long-haul journey? A senior class trip from Chicago to Washington, D.C. A band tour from Nashville to Austin. This is where the per-mile model takes over. The hourly rate becomes irrelevant because the main cost driver is the distance. The rates here can fluctuate wildly, but a general ballpark is somewhere between $3 and $5 per mile. So a 500-mile trip could have a base rate of $1,500 to $2,500, just for the mileage component alone. But again, there's a crucial detail hidden in plain sight, a term you absolutely must understand: deadhead mileage. This is, without a doubt, one of the biggest sources of confusion and surprise costs for first-time charter customers. Deadhead refers to the miles the bus travels without your group on board. It's the journey from the bus company's garage to your initial pickup point, and the journey from your final drop-off point back to their garage. And you pay for every single one of those miles. Let's paint a picture. Your group is in downtown Los Angeles and you want to go to Las Vegas. The charter company you hired is based in Anaheim, 30 miles away. That bus has to drive 30 miles from Anaheim to LA just to pick you up. That's 30 miles of deadhead. Then you all have a fantastic trip to Vegas. The bus drops you off at your hotel on the Strip. But the bus's journey isn't over. It now has to drive all the way back to its garage in Anaheim, another 270 miles. That's 270 miles of deadhead. In total, you have 300 miles of deadhead mileage on top of the 270 miles you were actually on the bus. You are paying for 570 miles of travel, not just the 270 from LA to Vegas. This is why it is often, but not always, more economical to choose a charter company that is geographically close to your starting point or your ending point, to minimize this empty travel. So we have hourly for local, mileage for long distance. But what about multi-day trips? A week-long tour of New England's fall foliage? A 3-day trip to a national park? This is where the pricing model often shifts to a flat day rate. A day rate is essentially a hybrid. The company calculates the expected daily mileage, the driver's on-duty hours, and bundles it into a single predictable price per day, say $1,600 per day. This simplifies the billing for complex itineraries with multiple stops. But whether you're paying by the mile, the hour, or the day, there's a human element that profoundly impacts the cost. An element governed by strict federal law: the driver. The person behind the wheel isn't a machine. They are a highly trained professional whose working hours are regulated by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, or FMCSA, for safety reasons. And these rules are non-negotiable. Here are the two numbers you need to know. 10 and 15. A driver can drive for a maximum of 10 hours within a 15-hour on-duty window. After that 15-hour window closes, they are legally required to have a minimum of 8 consecutive hours off-duty to rest. The on-duty clock starts the second they report to the garage. It includes their pre-trip inspection, driving to you, driving your group, and any waiting time. It doesn't stop just because the bus is parked. Let's see how this plays out in the real world and blows up a budget. You and your friends want to go from Denver to San Diego for spring break. You think, great, we'll save money on a hotel and drive straight through the night. Google Maps says it's a 15-hour drive. You call for a quote. The price comes back and it's nearly double what you expected. Why? Because of the 10 and 15-hour rule. One driver cannot legally make that 15-hour drive. They are limited to 10 hours of driving. To make that trip nonstop, the charter company needs to assign a second driver. This is called a relief driver or a tag team. Now you are paying for two drivers' salaries, their meals, and their time for the entire duration of the trip. The cost of your simple A to B trip just skyrocketed, all because of federal safety regulations. Any trip that requires more than 10 hours of driving in one go will require a second driver, period. This brings us to the driver's personal needs, which are also your financial responsibility. First, the gratuity or tip. Some companies automatically add a gratuity to the bill, often between 10 and 20% of the total cost. Others leave it to your discretion. It's crucial to clarify this up front. A 15% tip on an $8,000 charter is $1,200, not a small amount to be surprised by. These drivers work incredibly hard, navigating immense vehicles through chaotic traffic to keep you safe, so a tip is certainly deserved, but you need to know if you're paying it up front or handing it over in cash at the end. Second, and this is the one people forget all the time, for any overnight trip, you are required to provide and pay for the driver's hotel room. They need a private, clean, and safe place to get their legally mandated 8 hours of rest. They cannot sleep on the bus. You can either book the room yourself and provide the confirmation number to the charter company, or you can ask the company to book it and add the cost to your invoice. Letting them handle it is easier, but you might find a better deal booking it yourself as part of a group block. Just don't forget it, because the bus company will add it on for you, and it will be a non-negotiable charge. Finally, the route itself adds its own layer of costs. The quote you receive is for the bus and driver, not for the roads they travel on. Tolls and parking fees are almost never included in the initial price. A trip from Virginia to New York City will incur a huge amount in tolls crossing bridges and tunnels. A trip across Texas might have zero. These costs are passed directly on to you. The company will either bill you for the actuals after the trip, or they will estimate them and add them to your quote. The same goes for parking. If you're going to a major sporting event or a theme park, bus parking can be $100 or more, and that's your responsibility. Beyond tolls, some destinations like national parks require special commercial vehicle permits, which also get added to your bill. The very path you take from the turnpikes you travel to the place you park has a price tag. And one of the biggest price tags attached to your trip is the human one, the professional sitting in that driver's seat. Let's talk about the cost of your driver, because it's so much more than just an hourly wage buried in your quote. First up is gratuity. The tip. Is it required? Technically, no, not usually. Is it expected? Absolutely. Think of it like tipping a waiter at a restaurant for a large party. These drivers are responsible for the safety and logistics of dozens of people, navigating immense vehicles through unfamiliar cities, often for days on end. The industry standard for a tip is between 10 and 20% of the total trip cost. For a $5,000 trip, that's an extra $500 to $1,000 you need to budget for. Some companies will give you the option to prepay the gratuity, rolling it into your total quote. This can be convenient, but many group leaders prefer to hand the driver a cash tip at the end of a successful trip. It's a personal touch that says, "Thank you for getting us here and back safely." But the driver's cost doesn't end with the tip. What happens on an overnight trip? The driver can't just sleep on the bus. Federal Department of Transportation regulations are incredibly strict about this. For every 10 hours of driving, a driver needs at least 8 consecutive hours off duty, for their safety and for yours. And during that off-duty time, they need a place to rest. That place is a hotel room and you, the chartering party, are responsible for paying for it. You must book and pay for a private, non-smoking hotel room for your driver for each night of your trip. This isn't a negotiable point. It's a matter of federal law and safety. You can't ask them to share a room with a chaperone, and you can't put them in a cheap motel an hour away from the group's hotel. They need to be reasonably close and in a safe, clean environment. This can add $100, $200, even $300 per night to your total cost, depending on the city you're in. It's a cost that catches so many first-time planners by surprise. Then there's a concept called deadhead mileage. This is an industry term you need to know. Deadhead miles are the miles the bus travels empty, either from its garage to your starting pickup point, or from your final drop-off point back to its garage. Let's say you're in Des Moines, Iowa, but the only available bus for your specific needs is located in Omaha, Nebraska, about 135 miles away. The bus company isn't going to just absorb the cost of the fuel, the driver's time, and the wear and tear for that 270-mile round trip the bus has to make just to service your group. That cost, the cost of the deadhead travel, will be calculated and built directly into your quote. So when you get a quote that seems a little high, it might be because the bus is coming from further away than you think. Always ask where the bus is being dispatched from. It can have a real impact on your bottom line. Now let's move from the person driving the bus to the bus itself. Because not all charter buses are created equal. Just like when you fly, there's a massive difference between economy, business class, and first class. The type of vehicle you choose is one of the single biggest levers you can pull to control your cost. At the most basic, budget-friendly end, you have shuttle buses or minibuses. These are perfect for short-distance, high-frequency trips. Think airport transfers, wedding guest shuttles between a hotel and a venue, or a corporate team moving between conference centers. They typically seat anywhere from 20 to 35 passengers. Amenities are minimal. You'll get air conditioning and seats, but you probably won't find a restroom, underfloor luggage bays, or advanced entertainment systems. They are functional, efficient, and the most cost-effective option for moving smaller groups over shorter distances. The next step up, and the vehicle most people picture when they hear charter bus, is the standard Motorcoach. This is the workhorse of the industry. Seating around 56 passengers, this is your go-to for intercity travel, school field trips, and multi-day tours. The baseline amenities here are a significant upgrade. You can expect an onboard restroom, which is a game-changer for long trips. You'll have large underfloor luggage compartments for everyone's bags. The seats will be more comfortable, they'll recline, and you'll likely have overhead reading lights and air vents. There might be a DVD player with a few monitors scattered throughout the cabin. This is the reliable, comfortable, and predictable choice for the vast majority of charter trips in the United States. It strikes the perfect balance between comfort and cost. But then there's the premium tier, the luxury Motorcoach. This is where you go from simple transportation to a mobile experience. On the outside they might look similar, but on the inside it's a different world. We're talking about features like leather-stitched seating, hardwood floors, and enhanced legroom. The key upgrades are technological. You'll almost certainly have Wi-Fi, which is a massive deal for corporate teams needing to stay productive or students needing to stay occupied. You'll find 110-volt power outlets and USB ports at every single seat, so nobody's phone or laptop dies. The entertainment systems are more advanced with more screens, better sound, and sometimes even satellite TV. These buses are often newer models, offering a smoother, quieter ride. They cost more, absolutely, but for a client trying to impress, a team traveling for a national championship, or a company on a multi-day roadshow, the enhanced comfort and productivity can be well worth the premium price. And at the very top of the mountain is the entertainer or sleeper bus, the kind that rock stars tour in. These are less about maximizing passenger count and more about maximizing luxury and amenities for a very small group, usually 8 to 12 people. They feature bunks for sleeping, a full galley with a kitchenette, a lounge area with couches and satellite TV, and a full bathroom, sometimes even with a shower. This is a rolling hotel room, and it carries a price tag to match, often costing several $1,000s per day. So when you ask for a quote, don't just say, "I need a bus." Be specific. Do you need Wi-Fi? Do you need power outlets? Is a restroom essential? The more specific you are about your needs, the more accurate your quote will be. Choosing a standard Motorcoach when you really needed one with Wi-Fi and power outlets can lead to a disappointed group. Conversely, paying a premium for a luxury coach when a standard one would have been perfectly fine is just throwing money away. The vehicle you choose is a direct reflection of your budget and your priorities. Finally, let's pull back the curtain on some of the financial policies and clauses that can add unexpected costs. Let's talk about the fuel surcharge. In an era of volatile gas prices, most charter companies protect themselves with a fuel surcharge clause in their contracts. This means that the price they quoted you was based on the cost of diesel at that time. If, by the time of your trip, the price of fuel has spiked significantly, they reserve the right to add a surcharge to your bill to cover that increased cost. It's usually calculated as a percentage of the total contract value. This is a frustrating but understandable part of the business. It's a variable you have little control over, but you need to be aware that your final bill could be a few percentage points higher than your initial quote if fuel prices go up. And what about booking and cancellations? To reserve a bus, you will almost always be required to pay a deposit, typically anywhere from 10% to 50% of the total cost. This deposit is usually non-refundable. It's the company's insurance against you canceling at the last minute, leaving them with an idle bus and a driver they still have to pay. The cancellation policies are usually tiered. For example, if you cancel more than 30 days out, you might only lose your deposit. If you cancel within 14 to 30 days, you might be on the hook for 50% of the total trip cost. And if you cancel within a week of departure, you will almost certainly be required to pay the full amount. This is why trip insurance can be so important for large, expensive charters. Life happens, events get canceled, but the bus company's contract is legally binding. Understanding that fine print isn't just a suggestion. It's your shield against losing thousands of dollars. Now that fine print can feel like a labyrinth designed by lawyers to trap you, but it's actually where the real cost of your trip is often hiding. The initial quote you get? Think of that as the sticker price on a car. It's the starting point, the number designed to get you excited, but the final price, the one you actually pay, can be dramatically different if you're not prepared. This is where so many people get burned. They budget for the big number on the quote, they sign the contract, and then after the trip is over, they get hit with a final invoice that's 10, 20, even 30% higher. It's a gut punch. And it all comes down to a handful of extra fees and charges that are almost never included in that initial eye-catching price. Let's pull back the curtain on these so-called hidden costs, because they're only hidden if you don't know where to look. The single biggest one, the one that blindsides more trip organizers than any other, is the driver's gratuity. A tip. In the United States, it is standard industry practice to tip your motorcoach operator, typically between 10 and 20% of the total charter cost. Let me repeat that. 10 to 20% of the total cost. On a $10,000 trip, that's an extra $1,000 to $2,000. That is not pocket change. And virtually no company includes this in their initial quote. They consider it a separate transaction between you and the driver. But if you haven't budgeted for it, you're left in an incredibly awkward position at the end of a long trip, trying to scrape together cash from your group, or worse, not tipping the professional who just safely navigated your group for hundreds of miles. You must ask up front, what is your company's policy or recommendation on driver gratuity? Get it in writing. Plan for it. It is a real and significant part of your total cost. The next landmine is for multi-day trips. Driver accommodation. Your driver is legally required by the Department of Transportation to have a certain number of hours of rest. For overnight trips, this means they need their own private hotel room. So who pays for it? 99% of the time you do. The client is responsible for booking and paying for the driver's room. A decent, safe hotel room can easily cost $150 to $250 a night, or more in a major city. If your trip is 3 nights, you've just added another $600 or $700 to your budget that wasn't on the quote. Some companies might offer to book the room for you and add it to your bill, which is convenient, but you need to clarify this from the very beginning. Never assume the charter company is covering it. Ask the question directly. For our overnight trip, who is responsible for the driver's hotel room? Then you have the nickel and dime fees that feel small individually but add up like a death by 1,000 cuts. Tolls and parking fees. If your trip involves driving through major metropolitan areas, think New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, the Florida Turnpike, the tolls can be substantial. A single trip across the George Washington Bridge can be over $100 for a bus. Parking in a city for a few hours can be another $50 to $100. Who pays for this? Again, you do. The question is how. Some companies will try to estimate these costs and include them in your quote. This is ideal because it gives you a more accurate all-in price. However, Many others will simply bill you for the actual costs after the trip is complete. This means your final invoice will be higher than your quote, guaranteed. You need to know which method the company uses so you can budget accordingly. And what about what happens inside the bus? Let's talk about cleaning fees. A standard sweep out is always included. But if your group leaves more than just a bit of light trash, you could be on the hook for a significant cleaning fee. This is especially true if alcohol is involved. A spilled bottle of red wine on the upholstery, someone getting sick. These incidents can trigger a deep cleaning or sanitation fee that can run from $200 to $500. Before you book, especially for a party bus or a celebratory trip, you need to understand their policy. Ask them, what constitutes excessive mess, and what are the potential cleaning fees? It's a conversation that can save you a nasty surprise. Even the amenities you think are free might not be. Wi-Fi and power outlets are becoming standard on modern coaches, but not all of them. Some companies, especially those with older fleets, might charge an extra daily fee for a bus equipped with Wi-Fi. If having internet access is critical for your group, you need to confirm not only that it's available, but also that it's included in the price. Let's put this all together and see how a dream quote can turn into a budget nightmare. Meet Sarah, a high school teacher in charge of planning the senior class trip to Washington, D.C. It's a 3-day, 2-night trip. She gets 3 quotes. 2 are around $15,000. But one company, Bargain Bus Lines, comes in with a beautiful quote for just $12,000. $3,000 less. The principal is thrilled. Sarah is a hero. She signs the contract. The trip is fantastic. The driver is great. The students have the time of their lives. A week later, the final invoice from Bargain Bus Lines arrives. The total? $15,375. Sarah's heart sinks. She calls the company, confused and angry, and they calmly walk her through the contract she signed. First, the driver's gratuity. The school wanted to give a generous tip for a great job, so they planned on 15%. 15% of $12,000 is $1,800. That wasn't on the invoice, but it's a real cost the school now has to pay out of pocket. The budget is already blown. Second, the driver's hotel. The fine print said, client is responsible for driver lodging. 2 nights in a DC hotel that Sarah had to book last minute cost the school $500. Third, tolls and parking. The invoice has a line item for road expenses, totaling $350. The route from their school into DC was full of tolls, and the bus had to pay for parking at every monument. Fourth, on the last day, the farewell dinner ran late. They were 90 minutes behind schedule, dropping the students off. The contract specified an overtime rate of $150 per hour, billed in 30-minute increments. That's another $225. And finally, a $200 cleaning fee. Apparently, the remnants of a giant pizza party on the ride home were considered excessive. Let's add it up. The $12,000 base price, plus $1,800 for the tip, plus $500 for the hotel, plus $350 for tolls, plus $225 for overtime, plus $200 for cleaning. The grand total cost for the trip wasn't $12,000. It was $15,075. It was actually more expensive than the other pricier quotes she got in the first place. Sarah's school had to scramble to cover the $3,400 overage. She went from being a hero to being in the hot seat. This story plays out every single day. But it doesn't have to be your story. Your defense is a simple checklist of questions you must ask before you sign anything. 1. Is driver gratuity included? And if not, what is the recommended amount? 2. Who is responsible for the driver's hotel room on our multi-day trip? 3. How are tolls and parking fees handled? Are they included in the quote or billed after the trip? 4. Can you please explain your cleaning fee policy? 5. What is the hourly rate for overtime if our trip runs late? Getting the answers to these 5 questions transforms you from a hopeful customer into an informed buyer. It forces transparency and gives you a true, all-in cost estimate, allowing you to compare apples to apples. It protects your budget and prevents that sickening feeling of a post-trip invoice surprise. Asking these questions separates the amateurs from the pros. It protects your wallet. But once you have the full, all-in price from several companies, how do you decide? Because the cheapest quote, even the cheapest all-in quote, is almost never the best choice. In our final section, we're going to break down the crucial difference between price and value, and reveal the one thing you must verify before booking that could literally be a matter of life and death. So let's talk about that lowest price, the one that seems too good to be true. Because it is. In the charter bus world, the rock bottom price isn't a sign of a great deal. It's a giant flashing warning sign. It's a signal that corners are being cut somewhere. Maybe it's on vehicle maintenance. Maybe it's on driver training and background checks. Maybe it's on having a 24/7 dispatch team, ready to help you when your bus inevitably breaks down on the side of a highway at 2 in the morning. Price is a number on a piece of paper. Value is your group arriving safely. Value is the event you spent months planning going off without a hitch. Value is the peace of mind that comes from knowing the 40-ton vehicle carrying your family, your colleagues, or your students is operated by a professional, well-rested driver and maintained to the highest possible standards. Imagine for a second you're planning a trip for your company's annual conference. You get 3 quotes. 2 are around $5,000. The third is $3,000. It's a no-brainer, right? You book the cheap one. The day of the trip arrives, and so does the bus 30 minutes late. The driver seems agitated. The bus itself looks tired. The air conditioning is struggling, and there's a strange rattling sound coming from the back. Halfway to the conference on a busy interstate, that rattling sound becomes a loud bang, and the bus shudders to a stop on the shoulder. You're stranded. The driver is on his personal cell phone, trying to get a hold of a manager who isn't answering. Your team is now an hour late for a conference they were supposed to be leading. The keynote speaker is you. You saved $2,000 on the quote, but what did it actually cost you? It cost you your company's reputation, the stress of 100 angry colleagues, and the complete failure of an event that was months in the making. That's the difference between price and value. The cheaper price often comes with an astronomical hidden cost. But it gets much more serious than a ruined conference. This is where we get to the one thing you absolutely must do before you send a single dollar to any charter bus company. This isn't a tip or a trick. It's a non-negotiable step that could be the difference between a safe journey and a tragedy. You need to verify the company's federal safety rating. Every legitimate interstate charter bus operator in the United States is regulated by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, or FMCSA. This is a division of the Department of Transportation, and their entire job is to prevent crashes, injuries, and fatalities involving large trucks and buses. They do this through inspections, audits, and by assigning a public safety rating to every single carrier. And you, the consumer, can look up this rating for free in about 30 seconds. There are 3 ratings you need to know. The first is satisfactory. This is the gold standard. It means the company has its act together. They have strong safety management systems in place, and they've passed the FMCSA's rigorous audits. This is what you want to see. The second rating is conditional. This is a major red flag. A conditional rating means the FMCSA has found serious safety violations. This isn't a parking ticket. This could mean the company has a pattern of hiring drivers with suspended licenses, or they're forcing their drivers to work more hours than are legally allowed, leading to fatigue. It could mean they have a history of failing to properly maintain their vehicles, things like worn-out brakes, bald tires, or steering problems. Booking a company with a conditional rating is a gamble. You're betting that the specific bus and driver you get on your trip won't be the one that falls through the cracks of their broken safety system. It's a bet you should never ever make. The third rating is unsatisfactory. This is a 5-alarm fire. A company with this rating is considered an imminent hazard to public safety. They are, in most cases, in the process of being shut down by the federal government. You should run, not walk, away from any company with this rating. The scary part? Some of these zombie carriers will still try to take bookings right up until the moment their operating authority is officially revoked. They're the ones who will give you that unbelievable rock-bottom price because they have nothing to lose. So how do you check? It's incredibly simple. Open your web browser and search for FMCSA Safer. It stands for Safety and Fitness Electronic Records. The first result will be a government website. On that page, there's a search box. You can search by the company's name or even better by their DOT number, which should be clearly listed on their website and on your quote. Type it in, hit search, and you'll see their official company snapshot. Scroll down and you will see clear as day their safety rating. If it doesn't say satisfactory, you close the tab and you move on. Period. No exceptions. Heartbreakingly, almost every major bus crash you read about in the news involves a company that had a documented history of safety problems. A conditional rating. A pattern of failed inspections. The passengers who booked the trip likely had no idea. They were focused on the itinerary, the price, the amenities. They didn't know to take 30 seconds to perform the single most important check of all. Now you do. And there's one more piece to this safety puzzle: insurance. Federal law requires interstate charter buses to carry a minimum of $5 million in liability insurance. But how do you know they actually have it? You don't just take their word for it. You ask for proof. Specifically, you ask for a certificate of insurance, often called a COI. But here's the pro-level move. You ask them to issue a COI with your name or your group's name listed as an additional insured. This is a standard business practice, and any reputable, properly insured company will do this for you without blinking an eye. A sketchy company will make excuses. They'll say it's not necessary, or their insurance company doesn't do that. That's your cue to hang up the phone. Getting that certificate in your name is your proof that a legitimate, multi-million-dollar policy is active and protecting your group for the dates of your trip. So, after 10 parts, what have we learned? How do you take all this information and actually book a bus with confidence? Let's boil it all down into a final 6-step checklist for a smart, safe booking. Step 1. Define your trip. Before you do anything, know your head count, your exact itinerary with addresses and times, and the level of comfort and amenities your group needs. Step 2. Get multiple quotes. Seek out at least 3 to 5 quotes from a mix of companies. Use a broker to cast a wide net, but also contact a few highly rated local operators directly. Step 3. Analyze the quotes forensically. Line them up and compare them apples to apples. Look for what's not included. Is the driver's gratuity in there? What about parking fees and tolls? Is the fuel surcharge fixed or variable? Question every single line item. Step 4. Vet your top contenders. This is the crucial step. Before you fall in love with a price, do your due diligence. Go to the FMCSA Safer website and confirm they have a satisfactory safety rating. Read a dozen of their most recent Google and Yelp reviews. Look for patterns, both good and bad. Step 5. Make the call and request the COI. Talk to a human being. Do they sound professional and knowledgeable? Or are you talking to someone in a noisy call center who can't answer basic questions? Tell them you'll need a certificate of insurance with your group listed as an additional insured. Gauge their reaction. Step 6. Get everything in writing. Once you've chosen your company, review the final contract with a fine-tooth comb. Make sure every detail from your itinerary, the final all-inclusive price, and the cancellation policy is spelled out clearly. Do not send a deposit until you have a signed contract that you understand and agree with. Following these steps transforms you from a price shopper into a savvy, informed consumer. It shifts the goal from finding the cheapest bus to finding the best value. The cost of a charter bus isn't just a number. It's the price of a shared experience. It's the investment in a successful event, a memorable family reunion, a victorious away game. The price is what you pay, but the value, the safety, the reliability, the professionalism, is what you and your group will actually receive. And when it comes to transporting the people you care about, the value of peace of mind is truly priceless.